Hi friends, I'm back in the classroom here to teach you math today, just by myself with all of our desks and things here at school. But today for math, you're going to need your math journal again during the lesson because I'll need you to turn to the note pages again so that you can record your answers for the warm-up questions that I'm about to ask you. So make sure you have your math journal open to these note pages nearby. If you have already written on a page, but you still have space somewhere else on the page, then go ahead and answer these questions somewhere in that space. We want to try to use up a whole page before we go on to the next one. I'm going to show you some numbers on a whiteboard. Your job is going to be to write down the larger number. You don't need to write both numbers, just write down the larger number. Which number is larger? How about now? Which number is larger? Write down the larger number. Our numbers are getting bigger. Write down the larger number. How about now? Write at the larger number. This is the last one. Go ahead and write down the larger number. Now that we finished our warm-up, we are going to move on to a lesson about collecting data today. When you collect data, that means you are collecting information from the world around you. So today, I'm going to ask you to get out the piece of paper from your packet that you picked up that says blank tally chart. Now, if you didn't get this piece of paper, I have posted a copy of it in Seesaw, so you can print it out for yourself, or you could just draw a box on another piece of paper at home if you don't have this one. If you do have this one and you found this one that says blank tally chart, make sure you turn the paper so that this line is at the top, and then we see these three sections of rectangles right here. Now, as you might have gathered from the title on this paper, we are going to be making a tally chart today. So in order to do that, you'll need to think of something in your home that you are going to tally. So basically, you're going to be counting things and marking them down as tallies on the chart. An example of this could be, maybe I'm wondering about different types of furniture in my house. And I'll have to pick 3 different kinds because I see 1, 2, 3 different boxes right here. So I know that I don't have space to name more than 3 types of furniture on this chart. But maybe for my title, I would write types of furniture in my house. And I could put chairs, tables, beds. Maybe I'm wondering, are there more chairs or tables or beds in my house? Okay, so then I can go around and I can tally up those things and mark them down as tallies on my chart. Another example could be if I go in my kitchen and I'm wondering about what kind of food do I have more of? I could put the title of my chart could be types of food in my kitchen. So I have to make sure I put a title up here on this line to show what the whole chart is actually about. Now, like I said, I only have 3 boxes here, so that I can only choose 3 kinds of food to name over here. But I know in my kitchen, I have vegetables, I have fruit, and I have meat in my fridge, in my freezer. I abbreviated vegetables here. But so I wrote the labels for each row on those little lines that are on the side there. So I have vegetables, fruit, and meat. Now I can go in my kitchen. When I see a banana on the counter, I'll mark down 1 fruit. When I see some broccoli in my refrigerator, I'll mark down 1 vegetable. Oh, I saw some bacon in the fridge. I'll put 1 meat. As I keep looking around, I notice some apples on the counter. So if I mark one tally for each apple and I have 3 apples on the counter, then I'll put that many tallies on my chart. Then I also notice some spinach in the refrigerator, so that's a vegetable. And you can see I'm going to keep going and going until I have tallied up all these different kinds of food in my kitchen. Remember that when we do 4 tally marks and then we move on to number 5, we have to cross it like this because that rhyme goes 1, 2, 3, 4, number 5 shuts the door, right? We have to cross it so that when we go back to count them, we can easily recognize groups of 5. In order to do this tally chart, you'll have to think of something in your house that you have several of. Like, I have several pairs of shoes in my house. I could name my 3 labels for my tally chart: sandals, boots, and slippers. Those are 3 types of shoes I have in my house, right? I showed you how I could do different types of food. I showed you how I could do different types of furniture that I have in my house. Maybe you could do different types of toys. If you have 3 categories of toys that you can label on this chart and then count how many of that toy you have. You could do types of dishes. You have cups, plates, and bowls in your kitchen. So you could count how many of each you have, make tallies on your chart. And then eventually you're always going to come out with one of the things having more and one of the things having less than the other ones. That's our goal when we make a tally chart or when we collect data like this. We're always trying to compare the numbers to see which thing has more, which thing has less. When we look at these numbers, which one's bigger and which one's smaller? Just like we did in our warm-up today when you had to compare the 2 numbers by looking at them, this time you're comparing tally marks to see which thing you have more of and which number is bigger. Tally marks help us to easily count because we can count by 5s and 1s to get our final answer. Now, one thing I want to tell you before you go off to do this is that when you label this, you can only be talking about one thing. So I'm not going to say types of food, toys, and shoes, and then say food, toys, and shoes along the side here. Those are 3 very different things. What I'm looking for here is comparing the numbers of 3 of the same things. So 3 types of food, 3 types of shoes, 3 types of toys. We're not comparing different categories of items in our houses. We're picking one category, like food, and then within that category, comparing the different types of items in that category and seeing which one has the most and which one has the least. Okay, so your job today is to complete that tally chart and post a picture of it. And then you're also going to do page 45 in your math journal. It's a page of math boxes, and also post that on Seesaw. I will see you tomorrow for another math lesson.